When did admin jobs be this physical? In today's video, we'll be discussing the DGP admins of Kamen GEATS, well, pretty much all the ones who have worn the Glare and or GAZER titles. This video will have some overlap with ones we've previously covered, so you can watch those after this one if you need more context. With that being said, we'll start off with all the Glare users, then wrap it up with GAZER. So let's get started on the first GM, Girori. Girori is the first game master I would like you to focus on, though his heart and participation in the start of the DGP was in the right place, but his fault comes from a thing that has affected human civilization since the dawn of time, being a hating ass nigga. His abuse of the position of the game master causes him to break one of the DGP's most cardinal rules, which ends up biting him in the ass. The game master must not tamper with the game's results under any circumstances. This nigga really risked it all just so he wouldn't let our future deity catch another dub and get closer to learning the secrets of the DGP. So he gets a saboteur named Win, aka Punk Jack, to foil Kurama's plans. But after Win reveals his plan to Ace, Girori, who I might just call Rory for the rest of this video, reneges on their deal and shows up to put the work in himself. He begins putting that shit on, becoming Glare and facing down Punk Jack first. To keep it a stack with y'all, this fight is a straight L, a complete mollywop for Punk Jack. Watch this shit. Punk Jack goes for a Superman punch, gets weaved, goes for another swing, gets weaved again, then eats a smooth 3-piece no biscuit. Glare goes for a left jab but gets counter weaved, then blocks the incoming jab from Punk Jack. Punk Jack goes to sock his ass twice, but Glare blocks both before grabbing his ass and yoking him over the head upside down. Wow. Glare is palming this man's head like a Spalding basketball. I remember seeing this for the first time, and the first thought that hit my brain was,
yo, who is this nigga, man?
Then this shit happened.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
To add to the disrespect, he activates the Vision Driver's brain control spell card and uses it to put Punk Jack under his control, putting our favorite Vulpix at a disadvantage. I remember watching this shit too, going, damn, this situation.
From worse to worse, sir.
Doing all this bitch assness right as the mission is completed.
Damn, you hit that nigga so hard to replay 3 different times.
Ace is sent out the game and Rory gets the dub. However, it's short-lived as the final round of the DGP starts off terribly as the 3 remaining riders lack both the confidence and charisma to get the job done. Ace's lucky ass returns by way of Buffalo of all people, and Rory's upper hand gets immediately Uno reversed due to the situation. You gotta think about it, put yourself in Rory's shoes for a second. It's bad enough that your op is right back in your face, but the riders that you have left start indirectly glazing him as they start doubting their own skills to get their own dreams. And according to the wish from the first time he won this damn game, he's allowed to stay in the game indefinitely?
That's rough, buddy.
Shit is so close to hitting the fan for him right now, Rory can smell it. You know, spoilers, Ace beats the final boss and Rory is very upset at this, so he makes the final round kill GEATS to become the Desire God.
Hold on.
Yo, this is plus ultra levels of hating right here. The only level of hating I know that matches this is my homeboy's hatred for Gambit from the X-Men.
The name is Gambit. Remember it.
Anyway, the round eventually leads to Kawa v Ace, and Rory is looking for the right moment to sneak our Kurama. When it turns out that this was all a ploy and his plans were called out to his boss by Nago, Rory resorts to crashing out and attempts a 3v1 reverse jump. And with laser balls on him, he's swapping hands for the majority of the fight. But unfortunately for him, the riders got their jumping rhythm and they press him with a level 3 team finish. Before he could get a chance to strike back, his boss Niram, the GOAT, steps forward and fires this nigga on the spot. He gets hit with the bar, "You're easily replaced," then comboed by
You're fired.
and booted his ass right out. He will come back later on to call Swaylu out on his bullshit, but the moral of his story as a whole is, don't be a hater. After Girori's firing, he is replaced by the more fun and meme-worthy character, taking us to our first user of Glare 2, Charmi. Now, replacing a hating ass nigga with a sadistic goofball, This middle-aged, dripped-out himbo will throw anyone into any dire situation for the sake of the DGP's entertainment. Now, I'll be frank, technically this nigga is weaker than Girori, and he's the weakest nigga we are talking about today, to the point where like regular people, like you and I, could clap him if we got our hands on him. However, he is a proud member of Weave Nation, and I got the proof.
Much later.
In an episode where the round is all about catching him, watch this motherfucker get his Weave Nation on. Look at him juking the shit out of GEATS before parrying Nago and countering with the wiggle. This man is a black belt in Jack Sparrow's school swapping hands apparently. Tycoon runs up on Glare 2, but Glare 2 clears his first QTE and parries with ease. GEATS tries his hand once again, but fails again and gets pushed off. Considering this round is a game of tag, it's understandable why they're having a hard time, but Charmi is out here embarrassing all three of them. But it ain't like he emoting, right? Right?
I don't like that shit. For sure, bro. I don't like that shit.
I don't know about you, but if I was shooting a nigga and their answer is to do the worm to dodge my shots, either my aim is super duper trash or that person is built different. Either way, I'm taking my belt off and leaving, cause my pride can handle that shit, dog. Couldn't be me. As the round of tag continues, he sends his laser balls out to clip Nago, shock Tycoon, and GEATS, but GEATS clears his own QTE to chase him down. And just when they thought they had him, Glare 2 activates his trap card, Toon Force, and summons one of them boulders from Indiana Jones and pushes the trio to make his escape. This nigga ends up getting caught eventually by Beruba, and all the positive things I can say about him are immediately done. Charmi is easily fooled and gets outwitted several times in this series. Like, I'm 100% sure you can make him spell I-cup. His greatest fumble in the whole show is letting Beruba bitch ass know that the Vision driver requires his fingerprint to work, effectively starting her Glare 2 career then, which we'll get to in a little bit. He's also bad at making decisions, as his idea of stopping John Machine Buffer was just sending regular ass people there, knowing damn well he's invincible, which ultimately leads to his own mollywop at the hands of Buffer in a video we've already covered. So that's a wrap on Charmi right now, so we can move on to the final and only lady GM we've seen in the series, Beruba. Now, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. This bitch is an awful person and holds hate for the DGP so fierce she sadistically enjoys seeing the game get fucked up and people's lives being destroyed. Why do you think she made the JGP in the first place? Every time she pops up on screen, I be like, damn you, vile woman! Cause I know she about to do some bullshit. Ironically, Buffer's usually around when she does it. See what I did there? The first time we see her put that shit on is to pack up Jin, who's trying to protect a passed out Ace. She uses her laser balls to upgrade her minions and they get to jumping. So now it's a 3v1, and I don't know about you, but Jin don't look like the reverse jumping type.
They jumping me! They jumping me!
Fight starts when the minions run up on him and then Beruba's right behind him. Jin is having a hard time right now as they are on his ass like white on rice. They are just really beating this nigga. Once I saw Beruba snipe his ass with a laser ball, I knew the fight was over. And wasting no time, Beruba and her cronies end up jumping the boy with the nastiest level 3 team finish.
Tactical blast. Monster strike.
No lie, I think her Glare 2 form shits on both Charmi and Rory's, but her only good showing in it is offset by the ass whooping GEATS gives her in another video we've already covered. Those plugs are shameless, I know, but y'all don't care cause y'all like them videos. Anyway, honestly, she only puts this shit on twice, leaving her with a 1-1 record. So that's pretty much it for her. I kinda wish she had it on longer, but hey, it is what it is. So now that all 3 GMs are covered, no, I'm not talking about the one from that movie, it's time to talk about our final segment, GAZER, aka the GOAT, Niram. Niram shits on everyone I've just mentioned previously, both in terms of position and with them hands. As a producer of the DGP, it's not only his job to get sponsors for the writers, but it's also to pick game masters. So I'm assuming the reason why he picked both Charmi and Rory were because of diversity hires, because he needed to hit a quota. When he has to get his hands dirty and transform, he demands respect on his name, and he's clapped up two of the best writers in the show doing so. And to be honest with you, he's definitely Grimace adjacent. And what better way to prove it is than the time he actually flexed on the Grimace.
Flashback.
During a DGP that has a survival/total drama island feel, Michi is confronted by Niram, who is not excited at seeing him alive and wants him packed up immediately. When Niram hits the bar, "I'll erase you down to the last atom," I would've took my belt off and left. I'm beating feet if I ever hear a nigga say something like that. I'll be bitch made that day, please believe it, because why you wanna do all of that? Pimp, did you know that there are 7 times 10 to the 27th power worth of atoms in the human body? That's a 7 followed by 27 zeros. And you telling me this man is trying to get rid of all of them?
All of them?
Yeah, bruh. Not me. Michi should have ran. But he can't hear me though, so he gotta watch Niram put that shit on. Michi saw all of that and then said, "I'll crush you too."
Cap.
Now with the album out, are you paying attention?
Yeah, this was super cap. And let me show you how the fight starts to prove it. Trust me, it gets worse for him before it gets better. Buffer stands for round 2 and whiffs a punch that ends up getting mud on Gazer's fit. Oh no. Niram can no longer ignore this disrespect. Without him looking, he sends the laser balls out, and they get the beating on Buffer. Every attack Buffer attempts on him afterwards is blocked by Gazer's moving ball shields, and Buffer is 0-8 in terms of attempts at this point. He even tries a level 1 finisher, but the attack is once again blocked by the shield, and Gazer is clearly playing with him the whole time. You don't believe me? You need me to play the intro clip at the end? Cause I'll do it. Gazer flagpoles his disrespect, stepping on our Grimace and letting him know that he's standing on DGP business. Then Gazer decides to wrap this shit up, so he swipes for a level 3 finish and drops 3 meters of pack watch in that ass. Spoilers, Michi ends up living and Niram's like, "Hey man, I appreciate you not dying. You're actually pretty cool," and then leaves. This dude is raw, man. He's raw. When it comes to Niram, there are only 2 things he's worried about: the integrity of his work and eating good food. Damn, he like me for real, for real. A pimp by the name of Simbi Spidey said it so well in the community post that I gotta give them their flowers. It's on screen right now, so read it, and no, Spidey, you got my respect. Please don't make me regret that statement. Niram's code keeps him in a constant state of neutrality. His meddling and firing of Girori, his mollywopping of Buffer, and the final exhibit we're going to talk about in this video are all actions for the DGP's greater good. His code is flexible enough to either be a boon or a bane for his players, and he can back all the shit he talks. When the time comes for him and Ace to have their first clash, Vulpix knows that the goddess of creation is in fact his mama and has recently gotten to see her in her statue form. He can feel his mama's pain, but Niram needs the Carfax on this one to fly. So Niram just thinks that Ace is crashing out, and since both can't agree, they proceed to put that shit on and start running the fade. Fight starts with GEATS and MK2 trying to run and get a hit on Gazer, but his shields ain't letting our Foxman pass. When he tries to sneak him from behind, he's met with an orb to the chest and sent flying. Now, if you're an Ace Glazer, then you'll probably blame his poor performance on him being winded from his fight with Buffer earlier, but right now, GEATS is in a much stronger form than he was to fight the Purple Psycho, so this should make up the difference. That just means that Gazer is out here schooling our goat. Damn, you hate to see it. Even when GEATS rushes back in, every attack he throws just gets blocked. Like, goddamn, stop holding the block button. When GEATS finally gets to close the distance, Gazer weaves everything thrown at him. And this is easily Ace's worst showing ever. Like, he manages to finally get a lick in, but this was the first of 30 he's missed. For somebody trying to save his mama, he definitely ain't locked in. And as GEATS M2 cooldown activates, he's fatigued, and GAZER uses this moment to give Ace a ring out. Boy, if his tier 3 sub didn't throw him that future blick, GEATS would have been done here. But he does, so he assumes laser boost, and GAZER is on his ass like toilet paper. As the fight continues, GAZER is just showing out, and he's still weaving and countering all of GEATS' attacks. This nigga is raw. This is the worst matchup GEATS has ever had. Ace was getting embarrassed out there. The fight unfortunately ends at a stalemate as Buffer interferes last minute, so we have to abruptly end it here. But don't get it twisted. I'm 100% sure that Ace would have taken the L had this fight played out. After all, this fight takes place before their clash in the GEATS 9 video we've already covered, so in addition to Niram getting the dub in that fight, him being a dickhead about Ace's sealed mom is under the assumption that the DGP wasn't built on a fucked up foundation. When he does find out his boss is a bitch ass nigga, he instantly turncoats because of his code and gets clapped for it. This is why Niram is so compelling though. People like him because he has something that stands beyond good and evil. Characters don't have to have black and white terms of morality to be interesting. In fact, the ones with gray morality are the most interesting because they behave and respond like normal people would. See Jen from Kamen Rider and Amazons to prove my point. Again, Niram claps everyone I've mentioned thus far with the exception of Sueru and Regard. That felt weird to say, I'm not gonna lie. I should mention Jet and his whole role as a GM, but it's a setup for Sueru, who got his ass whooped by MK9 in the GAZER suit, so we'll cover them when we cover the final fight in GEATS. But yeah man, that's the video. Glare and GAZER are dope. Niram is the definition of the employee of the year, and if I could do his job, I fucking would. Get this video to 800 likes and we'll talk about the final fight in GEATS. I appreciate y'all. Give me $5.